Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hi, everyone. I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about some of the things that I shared on my stories. And the main thing I was talking about was navigating your emotions and being just conscious of your triggers and where do triggers come from? What does that mean? And really how to show up and navigate your emotions when they come up, right? I think that so many of us, the things that we fear on a day-to-day basis, and even when it comes to anxiety and just either general anxiety or panic, right? It's the fear of feeling specific emotions. We avoid things because there are specific emotions that come up and we don't want to feel those emotions, right? So recently I had a video and it went kind of crazy viral. I think right now it has like 8 million views, which is like way too much. Like, please stop. But that also came with exposing my content to people who don't normally subscribe to my content, right? Like you all that see me and you know, take in my content at some point of the day, some point of the week. Maybe you listen to my podcast, maybe you show up and tune into my posts, my stories, whatever it is. I am now being exposed to people that don't know who I am and don't know my story and don't know all these things that I think our human ego just wants to defend and explain. Like we want, because people will make judgments based off the 5 seconds that they see on a video and just assume that they know your entire personality. So I want to talk about why people do this, because I think so often we think of like hate comments and trolls on the internet and we're like, why do people do this? Like, where does this even come from? And so I was thinking about it for a little bit and I thought about how I have never left a hate comment on anybody's content, right? And what would cause somebody to do so. And the reason that I don't is even if there's something that I wildly disagree with, like, first of all, if it's someone I don't even know, it's not even worth my time. If it's a friend that I disagree with and we have opposing opinions, we have a different type of discussion about it. Right? I might tell them how I feel. I might tell them that I disagree with them and I might tell them that I, still love them or whatever it might be. I've never gone out of my way to make someone feel really terrible about themselves because I realize that their life has nothing to do with mine, right? It doesn't really trigger me in that way. And if it does, like, I wouldn't say something about it. I would just realize like, oh, this is interesting. I'm getting activated in some way. I'm getting triggered. I'm feeling jealous. I'm feeling envious. Maybe I want the thing that they have, or maybe I'm really mad that they're doing something, like whatever, right? Like some emotions are coming up, but I don't feel the need to go and reach out to them and tell that to them. I'm able to navigate. And that of course comes with a certain level of emotional intelligence, right? Some people leaving these comments have gotten their hands on a cell phone and they're like 11 years old, or they're like 40 and they just like don't know how to use social media. So they're just like spewing their judgment. I mean, there are a million different reasons, but I think the biggest thing is that people get triggered and they don't know how to manage their triggers. Like people who see my video and people who see my content in general, not just that one video, but my content, my podcast episodes, my social media posts, right? People are making assumptions about the little things that I say that they think they know about me, and they're filtering it through their RAS, right? Which is their reticular activating system. I think that's what it stands for. It gets filtered through their frame of reference. So everyone has their own frame of reference in which they then filter information. So in order for the information for them to understand it. It has to go through their own personal lens of understanding. And different people, based on how they were raised and what access and knowledge and resources and education they have access to, they're going to perceive a certain same information. There's 100 people are going to determine it in 100 different ways, right? And we cannot control that. And the reason I want to bring this up because I talk to a community. Most of you are all leaders in some way. Even if you don't see yourself as a leader, I see you all as leaders. I see you all as bosses or entrepreneurs or in the making, right? I see you all as ambitious people. You wouldn't be following me if you didn't want to make money and build your own business and be a successful, like a highest version of you. That's why I love you all. I love my community. I love the people I speak to. I've so much like adoration. I'm willing to sift through like, all of these different like hateful comments and negative, experiences of being online just so I can speak to all of you because I love you so much. And I realize that this is a very small percentage of the people online that are exposed to my content that don't typically know me, and that my community are leaders. And so the reason I want to bring this up is because as a leader, we are not always going to be understood. As a leader, you're not always going to be liked. As a leader, you are not always going to be on the side of the people that you want to like you and respect you. And that is okay. That is a part of it. I think that sometimes we flip it and we think, oh no, something's gone wrong. I need to appease this person and these groups of people and that person because this person doesn't understand this or this person misunderstood what I was saying. So I need to now defend myself and explain myself. And there might be a time for that, right? Depending on the situation. But as a whole, people are going to misunderstand what you're saying. Are you going to be able to handle that? People are not going to like you. Are you going to be able to handle that? People are going to unfollow you and disagree with you, and they're not going to enjoy everything you have to say. Are you going to be okay with that as a leader, right? And that's a really important aspect of it, because if you were here trying to please everyone and trying to show up and make sure everyone likes you, then are you really creating any type of polarizing, valuable, truthful content at all, right? Like, are you actually showing up in your truth? Are you actually showing up as the version of you that you're meant to be online? Because when you try to show up and appease everybody, you end up a lot of the time betraying yourself. And so the things that I stand for when I'm creating content online is not to make everyone happy. It's not to appease everybody. It is not to make sure that everyone accepts what I'm saying and understands what I'm saying. Of course, I do my best to be articulate and clarify what I mean. I do my best to express content, especially if I'm teaching something or I am elaborating on something. I do my best to make sure that is clear and understandable, right? But at the same time, you are not in control of the way other people perceive your actions or your emotions or your thoughts. And that's not your job. Your job is not to try to make everybody around you happy, right? So if you are somebody that wants to start your own business or you want to grow on social media, but you're afraid of this very thing happening, you're afraid of hate comments, you're afraid of people misunderstanding you, just know that that's going to happen. That is going to happen regardless of what you do and say, right? You can say one thing and a group of people that's anti that is going to say something, right? You'll have a group of people that really enjoy what you're saying, and then there's going to be a group of people that always do not understand what you're saying, right? And then you can join that group, and then you're going to have this group that's like, oh, why are you saying that? Why do you do this? It's always going to be something. There's always going to be something. And the point is not to never do harm, is because as a human and as a business owner and as an entrepreneur, you're going to end up doing harm. It's just a part of being a human being, running a human business with humans, right? You're going to do harm. It is just a matter of you being reflective and evaluative enough to recognize when you are doing harm, how you're doing harm, and how you can lessen that and be in full integrity of your values, right? So it's not that you're never going to do harm. It's not that you can show up as a perfect human and business owner. I'm sure that I caused harm to people who are viewing that video I got actually several comments about me and my ethnicity, which is really interesting. I got like different slurs and different people just bringing up my race and my ethnicity, me being Asian. And I thought that was so interesting because I'm probably the first woman in my lineage of Chinese, of Asian women that is making her own money. I am the first woman who started her own business, and I am making my own money on my own terms the way that I want to in my entire lineage. For so long, women have been excluded from the conversation of making money and making their own money. Imagine if I were a man traveling on vacation, single, independent, doing my thing. People would be like, oh, wow, look at him go. Wow, he's doing what he should, right? He's such an inspirational king. Oh yeah, he should be making money. That's what he should be doing, right? But when a woman who should be in their standards at home, taking care of kids, cooking, right, doing whatever domestic gender rolled type activities they should be doing in society, right? This comes from patriarchal values of women and their purpose being to be a wife and a mother, right? So when they stray outside of that, like often people will comment, how do you balance life and motherhood, right? Men never get asked that question. They never get asked, how are you balancing work and family, right? Because they don't. But men are never on the receiving end of these types of comments, these types of questions, these types of this type of commentary, because they're expected to do something different. So when a woman is independent and making her own money, right? I clearly state in my bio that I make multi-six figures because I'm so proud of it. And I don't think that enough women are talking about how much money they make. And I think that a lot of that is because they're so afraid of what people will think about them, that we have raised girls in the society to be really quiet and to be really meek and to be really submissive and to not talk about how much money they make because it's going to offend a man, or it's boastful and they should keep it to themselves. And I think that there should be more women talking about how much money they make, and more women living the lives that they want, and more women triggering the fuck out of these these men, these people in the world that can't handle it because they've never seen that happen and they don't know how to handle it, because it completely screws up their idea of what society should look like. It screws up their idea of what gender roles and norms should look like. And that doesn't mean that you should abide to what they want you to look like and what they want you to show up as. It means that you continue doing what is true to you and live in integrity for yourself, not for anybody else. Because at the end of the day, when you are in your truth, you are vibrating at the highest frequency. You are in your joy, and nobody can tell you any different. And when you know your identity, your true identity, nobody else can tell you who you are, because you decide who the fuck you are. You know who you are. You are not listening to somebody else and someone else's comments about your body and your business and how you make money and how you live your life and how you parent your kids, because you decide what that looks like and who you are and what that feels like and the reality in which you want to live, not the reality in which they want to live, right? Because that is society, or that is socialized conditioning and messaging and scarcity and fear and all of these things, these negative implications of who you should be. They are not for you. They are projections and limitations within their own mind. A trigger is an invitation to deeper heal. But does everybody heal deeper? Does everyone take that invitation to heal when presented? No. It's so much easier to project to someone on the internet that you've never seen, that you've never even met, all of your limitations and hatred because they're showing up and living a life that you want to live, but you don't think that you can, right? It's so much harder to look inward and go, you know what? I think I need to realize why this emotion is coming up and why I'm being triggered in this way. And it is so much harder to do that. And it is so much easier to put your imposed limitations and all of that pain that you're experiencing on to somebody else that you don't even know, right? So anyway, that's my little channeled message for now. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you all today, and I will catch you all soon. Thank you for tuning in. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.